Steven, do you think John Lynch is having a day like Kevin Costner was in draft day? Just driving around looking for answers, calling people, asking advice from mom.
Yeah, seeing if Deebo had a birthday party and which players were invited. Yeah, I think all of that's happening.
No one went to Bo Callahan's birthday party.
Yeah.
I love that this day every year we reference this movie that was terrible.
I think we're the only ones that do it anymore. I think people are over it.
You mean like just sports people?
No, just me and you.
Oh,
Because we're
okay.
the only because we always reference it every single year and no one seems to.
I
We
just
all
love it.
we always make the Bo Callahan birthday party jokes.
The Bo Callahan birthday party's joke is good. Vontae Mack, oh, no matter what, rest in peace. Um, yeah, that movie will stand the test of time as long as the draft is around.
No doubt. I can picture it now. Kevin Costner, John Lynch, and Kyle Shanahan is salty ass Dennis Leary, who thinks he's better than the team.
Welcome, everybody, to Just Your Opinion Man, Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. It is draft day, and we are 2 hours away from this thing kicking off in Las Vegas. Let me just say, first and foremost, that I think that this is incredible. Get over the fact that we have teams in Las Vegas. The fact that the NFL is having the draft in Las Vegas, which was a city that was taboo for so long, and now they're celebrating gambling and the draft in this location, I think is just incredible.
Yeah, people gambling on whether Deebo's going to be a 49er by pick 10 or not.
We'll see what happens with that.
You're damn right we will.
Yeah. So just the latest with Deebo Samuel. Nothing's happened. Recording this podcast, obviously, the day of the draft at 3 o'clock, 2 hours before the draft starts. And as time ticks away, the likelihood of this happening is diminishing. But Rich Samini, who covers the Jets better than anybody, is saying that this deal still could happen. There's multiple teams that have made offers to the 49ers for Deebo Samuel, including first-round picks. It could be the case that the Jets are on the clock at 10, and then the Niners see who's available, and then they pull the trigger on this deal. Then there's things that reporters are saying, like Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero, where the 49ers just flat out do not want to do this. And the likelihood of this happening can't be done because Deebo has to pass a physical and he has to agree to terms on a new contract, all within the span of the Jets being on the clock at 10. Steven, do you think this is going to happen tonight?
I think there's a chance that it does. Funnily enough, it could be riding on what the Seahawks do because the Seahawks have that ninth pick and they very well could trade back. And who knows? Maybe they take a player that the Jets wanted within that top 10. And if the Jets don't get who they want by the time the 10th pick rolls around, because it's going to be their second within the top 10, if they don't get that 10th pick that they want, I think it could happen. I'm not ruling it out.
I'm not ruling it out either. I just think that as time goes on, the likelihood that this happens is decreasing to me just because there's a lot of factors into this. I thought that for this to happen, it would have had to happen yesterday or the day before just to have time and the 49ers can figure out who they want. But the other side of it is they want to see who's available at 10 and see if it's worth it, if that player could potentially replace Deebo or, they very well could not draft a wide receiver to replace Deebo at 10 if they choose to. But a lot of question marks. I would say right now, I'm hoping that it happens so we don't have to keep talking about this because if this does not happen tonight, there will be no resolution tonight. And this will go on and on and on into the offseason and into training camp, and it will just be a shitstorm. And I just want this story to end.
It could very well end up that the most talked about story in the NFL for the past 3 months has been where's Jimmy Garoppolo going to go?
Oh, man.
And what's going to happen with Deebo Samuel? Like, this is a far bigger story than the draft right now. We talked yesterday. You said it. The draft, talent-wise, not very good this year, at least on paper. Of course, they could be good players, but none of these guys are expected to be superstars right away. Maybe Aiden Hutchinson, maybe Trayvon Walker, maybe that guy. By the way, no joke about, I'd say, let's see here. What time is it? 3:11? Yeah, 20 minutes ago.
Ooh, 3:11.
Yeah, there you go. Good band. I knew you'd perk up when I said that.
Whoa,
Yeah. Okay.
amber is the color of your energy.
Okay. And I shouldn't. I wish I would have waited till 3:12. But 20 minutes ago, she texted me saying Anna Kagarakis, the great Anna
Oh,
Kagarakis,
Anna.
texted me saying, "Has anyone ever told you that you look like Aiden Hutchinson if you took steroids?" And I said,
Oh,
and I said something to that degree. Yes. I more say that I look like Aiden Hutchinson if Aiden Hutchinson suffers like a serious injury and doesn't eat for 2 years. like, like that's what I look like. That's how thin I am right now compared to him.
yeah.
I'm looking at pictures and video of this dude. He is jacked. He's gonna be a monster.
I just saw him on the red carpet while they're doing this thing on NFL Network. I tried to see the resemblance with you a little bit with the hair and everything,
It's
but
just the hair
overall,
and the beard and
yeah,
the face shape and all of that. I
yeah.
don't see the resemblance at all.
Well, it sounds like you or Aiden Hutchinson is going number 2 tonight, and the big
Mm.
talk is Trayvon Walker will be the first overall pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kind of
Okay,
Vontae
so
Mack like.
which do you think is going to have more success in the NFL? Do you think both of them will? Do you think it's worth it? Like, do you think it's the right move for the Jaguars to pass up on Aiden Hutchinson? What do you think?
I don't know, honestly. I think there's
Mm.
a lot of talk about Trayvon Walker. He was on arguably the greatest defense in college football. They're saying that he could be the pass rusher with the most upside. And we all know that Trent Baalke drafted Aldon Smith when no one really knew who Aldon Smith was. And I'm not giving a lot of credit to Trent Baalke because he's whiffed on a lot of draft picks too, but they got a feeling. And I said yesterday that it's split 3 ways with Trent Baalke wanting Trayvon Walker, Doug Peterson wanting Icky, and the owner wanting Aiden Hutchinson. But from everything you hear with the Sharps in Vegas, where the draft is located, everyone is saying that they want it to be a mystery. They want this NFL draft to be the most suspenseful we've had in quite some time. But everyone is saying that Trayvon Walker will be the guy at number 1, and then Aiden Hutchinson will be at number 2. So there's spoiler alert.
Yeah, yeah. We want this to be the most shocking one already. We've already revealed the first 2 draft picks. That's what's made me. That's why I don't really like the NBA draft anymore. The NFL draft,
Well,
like
the
it's
NBA draft, just really sorry to cut you off, but the NBA draft is ridiculous because a guy could be drafted and then 2 seconds later he's traded to another team.
there's that. There's all these trades that are involved. It's like, is he on the actual team that he's drafted to, or is he going to end
Yeah.
up somewhere else? So there's that. But the main thing that bothers me with both of them, like, don't get me wrong. Again, I like the spectacle of it. I do think it's cool that you're seeing some guys who are changing not only their lives but their families' lives forever. I do think there's that aspect
Yeah,
to
of
it
course.
where these guys are, some guys grow up in not too privileged of a life, and they could be turning everything around for them, their family, everything. I love that.
And
But
ESPN's going to milk that storyline.
the freaking reporters who tweet out the pick already before it happens, like,
No tipping picks. Don't do
It's
that.
just it's just, hey, we're gonna see it on TV. You do not need to break the news, Adam Schefter, that this is gonna be the 6th overall pick.
They're not allowed to
Like,
do that anymore, too.
are they not?
I don't think so. That was a big thing before where Twitter killed the suspense of the draft, but I don't think, considering that Ian Rappaport is an employee of the NFL, I'm 100% sure he's not allowed to do that, and I'm pretty sure Adam Schefter is not allowed. I think they're told we prefer you guys not to do that.
Okay. Well, I'd hope so. But you know
Yeah.
what? Adam Schefter's been told a lot of things, and he does not follow those rules anymore.
That is true. That is true.
He's How much you want to bet he's going to make some sort of comment about, oh, my Michigan, Aiden Hutchinson, chosen at number 2.
Oh, he will definitely, yeah, he will, anything Michigan related, he will go crazy about. Rich Eisen, who's from Michigan, will go crazy for Aiden Hutchinson when he gets drafted tonight. By the way, you
Oh
brought it up
yeah.
earlier, changing a lot of these guys changing their lives and bettering their families. One thing I can't stand with the draft is ESPN always going for the saddest storyline with these guys and milking it while they get drafted. Just like, let's find the saddest thing about these guys and then just talk about it over and over and over and over and over again. This should be the
Yeah.
happiest moment of their lives. Like, I remember during the very depressing 2020 NFL draft, we're all in our homes during COVID, and everybody that got drafted was just like, well, this guy, his family, whatever happened. I don't want to make fun of anything, but it's just let's just focus on the positive stuff. Like I it just feels like it's sometimes TV producers try to milk the worst things with these players, and it should be focusing on them and their better lives and them moving forward.
It kind of brings me back to American Idol when American Idol was like
Yeah,
good, and
same giant.
they'd always take they'd always milk that story. They'd always
Yeah,
take the saddest one, but sometimes there'd be the saddest story, and then Simon Cowell would just obliterate them, and then
yeah.
they'd just gonna go. They'd have to just, well, your life isn't changing. You're not going to Hollywood. You're
I
going
don't
back to
care
that
if
life.
all of your family is dead. You are terrible. I'd rather be
Yes,
dead.
exactly, exactly. It reminds me of that.
That's my terrible Simon Cowell impression.
I mean, it's yeah, that was pretty bad. We're gonna move on, but
Okay,
either, but
that's fair.
either they do that or they'll find the gas mask story, which
Oh man,
never heard your dad more infatuated by any story ever than when I was listening to that draft show. Because wasn't he on with Fortenbaugh that draft show?
it
Because it was
was me.
2017.
It was 2017. Carl Joseph was taken. We were at Raiders HQ. Couldn't get a hold of Carl Joseph that night. Yeah, I think he was in Haiti, but we were at the facility. Me, my dad, John Lund, Joe Fortenbaugh. Joe Fortenbaugh was all over the Laramie Tunsil gas mask story, and my dad was just fascinated by it. And that's all we talked about because the Raiders were picking late, like 15 or 16, whatever pick Carl Joseph was. And yeah, that was the intrigue of that draft.
Or was that the 2016 draft? That might
That
have
was
been
20.
2016.
No, it was 2017 because it was the year after the Raiders were good. Wait, was it?
Hang on, I'm double checking
No,
this
you know
right now.
what? Hang on.
I'm
No,
the
you
one that
don't.
brought it
No,
up.
no, 2016. Because I remember
Yeah,
Joey Bosa going 3.
yeah. The reason that I know that is because I went down to me and Spadoni when we did our draft show for the Raiders. Somebody was choosing the worst Raiders draft pick since 2017, so I quizzed him on it and asked what he chose.
Ah,
Did you see who they picked? The worst Raiders draft pick since 2017. Can you guess?
Darius Hayward Bay.
Since 2017.
Oh, so 2017. Oh, that closes it off. Cleveland Farrell.
Could have been a good. I mean, you got plenty of guesses on the board. Obi Melifonwu was the pick.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I looked back at that 2017 draft. The first rounder was Gary and Conley. Oof.
Oh man, okay, so that's okay. That was 2017. That's when me, Bonte, and Joe Fortenbaugh and my dad were at the Fox Theater in Oakland. Did you come by for that?
No, I remember hearing that though. It was
Yeah.
at the Paramount, wasn't it?
Oh, was that the Fox Theater?
Fox Theater
But
or the I don't even know.
I actually forget, but it was in Oakland. One of the few remaining good things we did Raiders related with Oakland. That was a fun time. That was the night my dad was worried that the Chiefs were going to draft Christian McCaffrey, and don't worry, they just drafted Patrick Mahomes, so it's fine. Yeah, God, Gary and Conley, that was, whew.
Yeah,
I
bad.
mean, the fact that he wasn't good, and then the whole thing with not having enough vitamin D, and then prior to that, him getting drafted was a big deal because he was accused of rape. And yeah, that was, man.
Yeah, didn't work out too well for him.
Did not work out well for a lot of factors. But let's talk about that real quick, Steven. What are your favorite or least favorite, worst Raider draft memories?
Ooh. Well, I don't have any favorite.
Well, what about
Because to be honest, man, I was like any good draft pick that they made. I was in American cinema class. Like I think I was like learning about slasher films at the time when the draft was going on in the second semester of college, and that's when
for Khalil Mack?
Yeah, that's when Khalil Mack was drafted. So I was paying attention to that the entire time, as opposed to the actual movie. So it's like
if I know anything about America cinema classes, which I've taken a lot of. You were learning about that terrible movie, Birth of a Nation?
Yes,
yeah,
of course.
Jesus.
Yeah,
whatever.
We were way past the silent film era, though, Derek. We were on the way to slasher films. So I was learning about things like Scream, and I can't remember any other ones. I got a good grade. Let me think.
All right, what's the worst draft day?
Like DHB. I was
I'll
Where
I'll
was
tell you where
I?
I was.
DHB. I was on my way to baseball practice. Someone's like, they drafted Darius Hayward Bay. I'm like, who the hell is Darius Hayward Bay? I'm hearing about all this Michael Crabtree dude from Texas Tech. Who's this Darius Hayward Bay? And it's like,
Yeah,
he's fast. Oh, all right. Makes sense.
2009. I am about to graduate high school. Um, I'm hanging out with my girlfriend and I'm acting like I don't care about the draft. Sure enough, I pop it on for 5 minutes just to watch that, and I lose my shit. And I think I sent like a Facebook post out that day because I was so mad, just being like, the Raiders will never be good until Al Davis is gone.
Ooh,
Yeah. And I didn't mean that like dead. I just meant like, just like not like away from the team. I was angry and I
yes.
was young and stupid. And yeah, Darius Hayward Bay had his moments, and but yeah, that definitely made me upset that day.
Don't you get it twisted. You're still angry. You're still young, and you're still stupid.
Well, thank you for all that. I would
No,
say
that's a very, what is it, 2009, 13 years ago? Yeah, that's a very late teen thing to do.
oh yeah, I thought like I was I had a good girlfriend and I was hanging out and like not caring about football as much in the off season, and then that shit came and I was like, I just reverted back to my old ways. Um, yeah, terrible draft pick. Even though DHB had a really good game, the funny enough, the game after the day that Al Davis died, he had a huge game, but he was just a terrible, terrible wide receiver. Should not have been a first round pick.
2019, I think you were there, when we had the draft party. It was when the
Oh, at the
49ers were
Virgin
picking second.
Hotel
Yeah, the 49ers were picking second. The Raiders were picking fourth. And I think you and I were kind of pissed.
about Cleveland Farrell.
Yes, because the Niners just chose Nick Bosa, this
Yeah,
world class athlete, and then all the Niner fans were there just talking all this shit, and then we get Cleveland Farrell, and we're like, all right.
yeah. We,
Like,
we we were all scratching our heads at that one, just being like, ugh. But I
but
remember trying to
it did
defend it.
create the greatest GIF of all time. Anyway, keep going.
It did. That Raider fan being like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
They also had two other picks that night with Jonathan Abram and Josh Jacobs. And that was a weird time where that was the first draft my dad was the Niners play-by-play guy for. So that was just like a weird, like, oh man, I don't know who I care for. Um, not that I cared for the
Really?
Niners. No, I wasn't conflicted, but I knew like I wasn't a Raider fan anymore at that time.
Right.
Yeah, 2019 was when my dad was going to be he was going to be the play-by-play guy that for his first season going into that fall.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
One of my favorite moments, though, was in 2014. I think I already said this in an earlier podcast, but I just graduated college. Life was good. And then Khalil Mack fell to us at 5 in 2014. And that was one of the best moments I felt on draft day being a Raider fan. I will tell you the story of when I was 16. I flew out to New York and met my dad at Radio City Music Hall to go to the 2007 draft when Jamarcus Russell was taken number 1. And it was just fun being at the draft, the whole spectacle of it. I remember Deion Sanders being stuck in front of the building. They wouldn't let him in because he didn't have the right credential, and he had to explain to the lady he's Deion Sanders. And then I remember that was still when the draft was on Saturdays, and it was still a long, 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 long process. But we all knew Jamarcus was going 1. And I remember feeling kind of weird about it after he got selected. No one from the Raiders was there to greet him except my dad. And then Jamarcus embraced him like he was a coach, like he thought my dad was a coach or something.
Probably did.
Yeah. And then Calvin Johnson went too. And we were like, Calvin Johnson with the Lions, he's not going to do anything there. And if you look back on that draft, that's one of the best drafts ever in history. Adrian Peterson, Calvin Johnson, Joe Thomas, Joe Staley, Patrick Willis, and the Raiders took Jamarcus Russell 1.
It's just terrible.
I know.
It's the worst. It's the worst. I wasn't big on watching the draft early on, like at that stage of my life. I remember like thinking, who the hell is this Jamarcus Russell guy? And then, because I wasn't big on college football either, I was too busy with my time, like playing Little League baseball on Saturday. So I never really watched college football.
Yeah.
And then when I saw him, I'm like, this is really the guy. But he could throw 100 yards
from his knees out of the stadium.
Yeah. Yeah.
People still say that's the best pro day they've ever seen, but it doesn't mean shit.
No, it does not. It doesn't. It's terrible.
Because then your quarterback is sleeping through meetings, getting blank discs thrown at him, and acting like he's reading the playbook and sipping on that lean.
Yeah, man. It's just like
good times.
Oh, it's so bad. So wait, now Richard Seymour, when he was traded for. Okay, so the Patriots got their 2011 first rounder in exchange for Richard Seymour. Who did that end up being? Because I'm just trying to remember.
Did the Raiders have a? Oh, the Patriots. In 2011
took it. Yeah.
Who was their first round pick in 2011?
Oh, Nate Solder, the tackle. How about that?
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, so it would have been 17th is where the Raiders would have picked there in 2011.
For a while there, the Raiders were like the Rams, where they didn't have first round picks for a few seasons.
Yes. Yep.
Al loved to wield and deal in his later years.
Yes, he did.
Speaking of which, just last bad Raider memory. I remember being 9 years old and not really comprehending what was going on in sports, but I remember my dad just being like, "What the hell?" when Sebastian Janikowski was taken in the first round. Now, Seabass turned out to be a great player and probably the famous kicker in Raider history.
All-time point scorer, Derek.
I know, but you don't take a kicker in the first round. I'm sorry. Even though he's a great Raider and fit the mold of being a Raider with all the off-the-field shit he did, you don't draft a kicker in the first round. That was insane.
No, you do not.
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible.
Just real quick, some latest updates from the draft. Apparently, Jimmy G and Baker Mayfield are linked to the Houston Texans in some report. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Who had it?
Jeff Pobe or I.
Why are we running with this, Derek? Why are we doing this?
I know. I'm sorry. I'm looking at this is why Twitter's just a terrible place because there's so many different reports right now. But I'll give you the concrete ones that actually have sources. Mary Kay Cabot, who's really good with the Browns, she is saying. So,
heard the name.
Yes,
that's important.
Yes, as long as Steven's heard it. She's hearing that multiple teams are reaching out to the Browns about Baker Mayfield. So we'll see if a trade happens tonight or maybe tomorrow. Most likely tomorrow because he's not going to be dealt in the first round. And then what did I say yesterday, Steven? I thought that the Packers, and it's a rumor lately, is that they want to trade up to get the receiver that they want. And we've also heard that multiple teams are inquiring about Deebo Samuel. Could those teams be the Green Bay Packers and Kansas City Chiefs? Doesn't seem likely with the way they do business, but that's a rumor as of now.
Davante Adams is gone, so the Packers decide, you know what, this is a good time to draft a wide receiver in the first round. Okay, we'll give in now. We'll do it. Yeah,
well, yeah, they kind of have to. They're definitely not getting Darren Waller, and now they can get somebody for cheap. So I could see them getting like a Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave and getting them in the first round.
That's what makes it funny, man. That's so good. Packers,
yeah, but the Raiders got to pay this guy now, which he's a great player.
Yeah, pay him. I'm good.
No,
I'm good paying him.
I have no problems with the Raiders paying Davante Adams $28 million until it becomes a problem where we can't afford Darren Waller anymore. I said we. Yes. Yikes. Let's move on.
Oh, that's because you're still a fan. It's okay.
All right, Steven. Should we get to this Warriors game from last night?
Actually, real quick, I do need to share something here because I saw this earlier, and
that's what we should call this podcast, by the way, real quick, because I say that way too much.
Yeah, we all do. Don't worry. I tried pitching that as a segment to Bonte and Joe. I'm still seeing if they want to do it. Because they say real quick a lot too, and I'm like, let's just do rapid fire takes at the end. Let's just call it real quick.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. Actually,
it's not terrible. No. Good segments are
based on names
from It's organic, and I think that
Yes.
one is organic just because we use it all the time.
Like
But you,
Steven,
it's
like Steiny Sexy song selections.
yeah, that was not organic at all. Uh,
Whatever.
but it's not draft day till this is shared. Mel Kiper and his pumpkin pie.
Is
This
that
being
always a thing?
the thing. It's the only thing that he eats prior to the draft.
What?
Starts off the day with pumpkin pie, whipped cream, and milk. Yep, it's a thing.
Okay. I'm sure
It's a
he'll
thing.
enjoy that from his house today.
Do you think pumpkin pie is overrated or underrated?
Mm, rated appropriately. It's a great Thanksgiving dish.
All right. Well, I think it's trash. So,
what?
Yeah, I think pumpkin pie is awful.
All right. Well, let's save this conversation for Thanksgiving. I don't feel like having a pumpkin pie debate today.
Why not? It's draft day.
Yeah,
it's a perfect day to have a pumpkin. It's a perfect day to have a pumpkin pie.
All right, fine. Give me your reasons why you hate pumpkin pie.
The texture is not right.
Okay.
Normally, if you leave it for too long, it doesn't sit well, and when it gets a little warm, tastes weird. Then you're in this weird lukewarm cold stage. I don't know where. Like, I don't know. Do I want it hot? Do I want it lukewarm? Do I want it cold? I don't know, because it doesn't taste good either way. The whipped cream, like that Ready Whip that Mel Kiper had, fat-free Ready Whip, by the way. Like, come on, enjoy yourself, Mel. But it always melts.
Steven, he doesn't want to put anything bad in his body. Come on.
Maybe it just keeps his hair slicked back. Is there something secret? That's actually what we're not showing right now. That's probably his hair gel as opposed to it being the pumpkin pie. It's like he's like, I use it on my pumpkin pie, and then I use the whipped cream on my hair. It keeps the hair nice and stick back.
By the way, I hate this guy, but I also love him. Did you see Joey Milanaro's sketch of him today?
Why do you hate him?
Because he's so good.
Yeah, I know, right? No, I actually haven't seen a lot of his stuff. Like, is he with Barstool anymore?
I don't think so.
I don't think he is. No wonder I haven't seen his stuff too much.
He's just an
lately.
independent impressionist.
Yeah, I mean, well, to be fair, I saw the content he was putting out for Barstool. There wasn't a lot of, it was impression videos, but other than that, it's like, all right, dude, what else you got? It's like a 2 fastball pitcher, 2 pitch pitcher. Oh right, yeah. All right, should we play this right now?
Go for it. Oh,
you
want to play the impression video?
Yeah.
All right, sure. Why not?
Is that like illegal? I don't know. Is that copyright? Sorry, Joey. We love you. Your stuff's good, so we're gonna play it for him. All right,
go for it.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I think when you look at a draft night party, things I'm hearing from the group text is going to be the clear and obvious number one choice, and that'd be wings. Now, a few red flags look out for is the guy who wants boneless wings instead of bone-in wings. The classic wings can be a little bit sloppy there, and then the question becomes, how far do you fall? Do you go 12, 18, 24? Hey, some people even think to go 50 and save a quick buck. Next option would be tacos, but again, the red flag there, the concern would be looking at, do they break under hard shell, going soft shell. Few people like both. I'd be good with either option. And then, of course, you have pizza. A little bit of the generic pick, a little bit of the vanilla pick. Not going to really surprise anybody, really take anybody by storm. But you really can never go wrong when you're choosing pizza on a draft night. Ultimately, I think you go with wings as a clear-cut number one overall choice.
So yours is good, but his is a little better.
Oh, his is far better. No, yeah, of course.
I'll give you some credit.
It's thought out. Whoa, it's well thought out. I think it's good.
It's pretty solid. All right. So the draft is an hour and 30 minutes away, and we'll be glued in. If there's any updates, we'll let you guys know. But for now, let's talk about the Warriors. Last night, they closed the deal. They win in 5, and it was dicey there for a little while, but the Warriors handle business. Steph Curry was some of the best shots I've ever seen him make. Just unbelievable. They do go with the perfect lineup. I'll call that because you love that going forward.
Thank you.
It didn't come out with a bang, but I still think it's a solid lineup, and we'll see if Steve Kerr wants to go with that going forward. But to me, the biggest takeaway from that game was GP2, Gary Payton Jr., or Gary Payton II. There already is a junior. He's not the junior. He's second. Isn't that weird, too? Gary Payton has 2 sons, Gary Payton Jr. and Gary Payton II.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's confidence right there.
Exactly. But GP2 comes away with 15 points. He closed out the game, played great defense, shot 3 threes. And I think we called last night the glove game. It was Gary Payton's second gloving out party. Huh?
I'd
You
say
like
that
that?
the lineup that they started with was mediocre.
Oh, Jesus. So now you want to change. Well, no, actually, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I like the glove game. Don't get me wrong, I like the glove game, and we'll focus on the glove game. But I had to get my joke in about that starting unit because it didn't look all that great.
Yeah, but I would still go to it at times. I don't know if you'd start a game with it, but I mean, unless you need to. But I still think it's a lethal lineup. But yes, it
Yeah,
did come out swinging last night.
that's a lineup that you want to bring in like when the other team is reeling, and they're starting to get to the end of the second quarter and they're getting a little tired, you want to go to the half, you just want to take a break, and then boom, you hit them with this small ball lineup and they're just going to run up and down the floor on you. I think it was more of an experiment than anything. I don't think it's it's permanent. They're going to be going out with this lineup here. No, I don't think it's going to happen. But Gary Payton the second was huge.
Yeah.
Comes in with about 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Then in the fourth quarter, stays in the entirety of it, except for the final 20 seconds when free throw shooters came out and you could afford to put him on the bench. But he gave the jolt, man. The thing I like about him the most is he hang on, Ernie, fantastic.
Yeah, I saw it. I was waiting for you to. It's never the Andrew Wiggins game.
But GP2,
just real quick, hold on, sorry.
Real
Andrew
quick.
Wiggins, he definitely is turning into Harrison Barnes, where we need him. He's good in the offensive flow of everything. Defensively, he's there. But man, does that guy lack confidence when it comes to shooting a basketball in the playoffs?
Yeah. He's kind of scared
digress.
to do it. He's kind of scared. Did he make a couple of threes in that one? He made a nice three and a nice open three. I mean, he's been knocking down shots. I mean, he hasn't taken that many threes, but he's been knocking them down at like a 50%.
He just needs to go to the
clip.
rack with a little more confidence.
Agreed. He's super athletic, and I'm with you there. But one guy who doesn't lack confidence is GP2. That's what I like about him. And Kerr talked about this after the game, how comfortable he is when he's on the floor. And the other thing that I personally like is he understands what his role is in the game. It's not like his role just with the team, but he understands what he needs to do in the game, who he needs to stop, like the guys that he needs to cover. Like, of course, Jokic is going to be the guy that you want to focus in on. But wait a second. If I'm going to go double Jokic, I got to make sure that I get my guy at the three-point line. I got to make sure that if I'm leaving Monte Morris or Will Barton, whoever it is, I mean, granted, they're probably not going to knock down the three because those guys were just terrible at three-point shooting last night. But I do think that a lot of them were contested. And in the fourth quarter, you could see GP2. It's like he's double-teaming Jokic, but still can close out on the guy behind the three-point line. Now, to be honest, a lot of guys on the Warriors have been doing that this season. That's why the Warriors have been so deadly on defense and been one of the best defensive teams in the NBA in terms of rating. I mean, when it was all said and done, even after all those losses toward the end of the season, they were still top 5 in defensive rating. But GP2 is the headliner there. He's so damn good at it, and then he knocks down those threes. I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't really get up off my couch like a ton. When moments happen, especially when I'm watching on my own, like you can clap or whatever. It's a force of habit to clap. And I don't really get up, but dude, when GP2 grabbed that ball after Draymond passed up on the open layup, which I do want to get to in a second as well. After Draymond passed up on the open layup, gets it to GP2, terrible pass. He catches it from his shoestring, a shoestring catch. Then he passes it to Wiggins in the corner. Then Wiggins passes it back to GP2 like this is semi-pro. Then GP2 knocks it in. Dude,
with a little hesitation, but he knocked it.
Yes. As soon as he shot that ball, I put my fist up in the air and I was like, come on. And 3, let's go. Oh, that was great.
My reaction to that was, oh, no. Oh, what the hell are you doing? No. Oh, yeah. That happens a lot when watching Warriors games.
You were Steve Kerr.
Yes.
You were Steve Kerr watching a Steph Curry 3 when he first started?
Oh, yeah. Yes. And by the way, We got fantastic audio last night for the first time in a Warriors playoff game since Steve Kerr had that heart-to-heart with Kevin Durant. Draymond Green on the sideline telling the refs, "I got suspended in the finals for that shit," is fantastic. I think
Yeah.
NBC Sports got that. Fantastic
Yeah.
audio. Absolutely
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Where he's at, where it was Bones Highland. I think he'd need
Yeah,
who was it? Was it GP2?
I think so.
Who was he? Who was
I actually,
Ernie? You'll know.
Ernie will chime in and give
Ernie,
us
our guy. You'll know.
But yeah, man. The game. One thing I was thinking last night was I'm Porter. Thank you, Ernie. I missed Warrior playoff series wins. It's such a great feeling. The whole Bay Area is in unison. Usually, sometimes it's divided by obviously the Bay Bridge series we're having right now, and Oakland, San Francisco are divided. But I would say we all come together when the Warriors play, and it's a beautiful thing. But I do not miss Warrior playoff anxiety. Good God, I hate that feeling. But it's also fun at the same time when they win. I just would have hated if they had to go back to Denver today when we had a game on Friday. That would have been terrible. But they handle their business, and we're moving on. And we'll see who they play because the Grizz and the T-Wolves will play tomorrow night on Friday. And with how many leads the Timberwolves have blown in that series, I think we're going to play the Grizzlies eventually.
You never know. You
That's
never
true.
know, man. That series is so back and forth. I didn't think they were going to come back after being down 24 or whatever it was. I was kind of disappointed. I'm not going to lie. At least for a little stretch for like 7 minutes of the game, but it was the beginning of the second half. Chase Center was just dead. I was like, this is playoff basketball, man. You guys got to be like, I know you want to wait for something to happen, but this is the playoffs. You don't let the opposing team take you out of it, which they did because the small ball lineup wasn't knocking down any shots and they kept on fouling and the Nuggets kept getting into the free throw line. But the crowd was sort of out of it for a little while until Draymond knocked down a three. So I was just like, damn. Yeah, I mean, there's the difference right there, right? I mean, it's just, that's where Chase Center needs to find its footing here. It's you don't get crazy when just because Steph or Draymond knocks down a three or Clay or whoever it is, you got to get crazy just to get crazy because it's the playoffs.
Exactly. And Grant Hill, was it Grant Hill last night with Spiriditas? Yes.
Yeah.
Grant Hill was making that known very clearly that it sounds like a museum in here right now. And I would have brought it up if they would have lost and been like, see, this is the curse of Chase Center here. But they got it done.
Well, they know when they understand like what's happening.
I know.
It's not like they don't get loud, but still, like at the start of the second half, I'm like, come on, we need a little juice here. Like, I do think the Warriors feed off of it.
Let's be completely honest here. It wasn't just Chase Center where we had issues with that. Oracle was having issues towards the last few seasons with that as well because a new fan base is coming in and the old fan base is being priced out. That's the truth. So when I always say one of the best experiences I ever had at Oracle Arena was not even a game. It was a watch party to watch Game 4 where they swept the Cavs, and the diehards showed up to watch that, and it was loud as hell in that arena. They booed Kevin Durant that night, but I won't go there. I will say that the Chase Center, it's going to take some time because they've only seen 3 playoff games, and things will get more heated and interesting if we play the Grizzlies, if we play the Suns, if there's an NBA Finals. Hopefully, fans show up on time because we know with the NBA Finals, those games start at 6 o'clock, and that's early. So fans better get their asses in the seats right away. But I think that, yes, that place, when things are going right, things get loud. It's just something to watch out for. But all in all, the Warriors are the Warriors, and they have the playoff experience, and I feel very comfortable with them going forward.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. And I was just thinking, like, with Jokic, it's funny. Today we were getting like the comments about why doesn't Jokic get more respect? Like what, like, and all this stuff. I'm like,
well, he's gonna be MVP.
He does. Like anyone who says that he wasn't getting respect before, it's you personally. Like there's people who have their qualms with Jokic, the type of player that he is. I'm like, he's not he's not really underrated among the league. People know who he is. It's just everyone tries to dispel it, especially in Golden State, because they felt Steph Curry should have won as opposed to Jokic. So they were just trying to, like every fan, it's just, I didn't think much of Jokic at first, but he really proved me wrong. I'm like, dude, he's been doing this for the past 5 years. I'm hearing callers say that. I'm seeing texters say that. It's just like, you should have expected this from Jokic. He's a very good player.
And he's gonna. I mean, he put 30 points up last night. Like they didn't lose. He played great in every game. And it sounds like he is close to signing a max contract that's going to make him the highest played NBA player in history, passing Steph Curry. So that's telling.
That's crazy.
He's a great player.
Can I play the GP2 play, by the way, with
Go for it.
Ding miss dunk? Ah, damn it. Never mind. Can't find it. God damn it.
All right, then we won't play it.
Why is that video? Why are you starting that video after Draymond makes the pass? Unbelievable. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, you're all good. Jokic is a great player. And Draymond paid him a lot of compliments after the game. They had like a moment after the game too. I think that he's probably going to win MVP again. It's the problem. The thing I noticed last night was that I still think we are the favorites to win the NBA Finals, but we are going to have a lot of problems with centers going forward. We're going to have problems with the Grizzlies. We're going to have problems with Aiden with the Suns and whoever we play. I'm going way down the line if we go that far, but that is our Achilles heel right now. Is that we couldn't even start to stop DeMarcus Cousins. It's just going to be a problem going forward where Draymond can handle it. I'm not saying that it's going to end us, but I do believe that that's the biggest flaw in the Warriors right now is just we can't stop anybody at the rim.
Well, I think, defensively, the other team's facing the exact same thing. Just as much as we're wondering who on the Warriors is going to have to, who's going to guard Ja, who's going to guard this guy, who's going to guard that guy. Grizzlies are the same thing. Like, to me, who's going to guard Clay? Who's going to guard Poole? Who's going to guard Steph? They're going to double team him? Like, what's going to happen? Who's going to be the one that's out to the perimeter? What's their help defense going to look like? So I do think that, I think that falls on both teams there. So I'm not too worried about it. I do think it's going to be a very high-scoring affair on both sides. Like, whatever the over-under is in game one, take the over. I think it's going to go right over. But yeah, I'm not too worried about that because the Grizzlies are facing the same problems.
I'm not worried about that.
Or Timberwolves, sorry.
Well, okay. Do you think you think we're playing the Grizzlies next round?
Yeah, I think it's likely to happen.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's a done deal, but I do think the Grizzlies are going to be who they face.
Yeah. Is Steven Adams their starting center?
Steven Adams has been benched.
Well, he's not playing Friday night because he's in COVID protocols.
Well, he was Bielitsa'd earlier on in the series. He was just benched because he's a big man who can't. Well, actually, it's the complete opposite. It's because Steven Adams can't really get it done offensively. He's fine He's fine protecting the rim and getting rebounds and setting screens or whatever. But getting an actual bucket, he can't really do that. So, he was Bielitsa'd.
Who are the Grizzlies? Who's the Grizzlies center right now?
Jaren Jackson Jr. maybe is the starting center.
All right.
I'd have to. I haven't caught as much of the Grizzlies Timberwolves as I've wanted. I've been on Caltrain for like 2 of the games so far in the series. I feel like I'm always busy during Timberwolves Grizzlies. Very sad.
Well, you're not missing much. Well, actually, it's been a good series. You've missed colossal blown leads by the Timberwolves.
Let's make sure. I want to make sure. Oh, that's right. Forgot Xavier Tillman.
Okay.
Xavier Tillman's been the guy. And, they've had, they got some pieces, man. Brandon Clark off the bench has been pretty nice. Kyle Anderson is always giving the Warriors problems. Kyle Anderson's going to frustrate me so much. Like, that dude already in the, his slow, like, they call him slow-mo for a reason.
Yeah.
The dude, it's like Luka. Like, the dude just kind of glides through the key and, like, somehow Euro steps his way to the hoop. I don't know how he does it. So Kyle Anderson's going to frustrate the hell out of me if they play the Grizzlies.
Sorry, I was distracted. I think Circus Soleil was going on at the draft, and I was like, what the hell's going on here?
Oh, Marshmello isn't performing yet?
Yeah, who is Marshmello?
EDM artist who wears like a mask, like a helmet thing.
Yeah.
Shaped like a marshmallow.
The draft is in Las Vegas. If the Warriors do end up playing the Grizzlies, do you think that GP2, since we're talking about him, would be the best defender on Ja?
Yeah. Yeah, if you're going to count on a guy to pick him up full court and stay with him, yeah. I mean, I think they're going to do exactly what they did at the beginning of the third quarter in last night's game, which was pull out the box and one, have four guys on the corner, and then just have whoever follow the player. And normally GP2 has been that guy that's kind of the I forgot what the official term is when you have a box and one. I forgot what they call them, like the trailer or something like that. But there's always a guy who follows them. So GP2 is going to be that guy, but I see a lot more zone defenses being played against them. Actually, it's funny to think about that too, because in 2019, the box and one was kind of reintroduced into the spotlight when the Raptors played the Warriors, and everyone was laughing at Nick Nurse and the assistant coach Nate Bjorkgren, all pulling out the box and one against Steph. And it's like, look at these guys running this high school defense against the Warriors. The Raptors got no shot, and it worked. And now it's like the new normal is box and one. Everybody runs a box and one now.
Steph Curry, I remember calling it a gimmicky defense.
Yeah,
but it worked.
Wasn't it janky? Didn't he call it janky?
Oh, did he call it janky or gimmicky?
Gimmicky, janky, whatever you want to call it.
I think it was janky, actually. I think, he definitely called it a something defense. But yeah, the Warriors are doing the same thing right now. But yeah, we'll see who they play next. Supposedly, if the Grizzlies win Friday night's game, things will get tipped off on Sunday night, or Sunday afternoon, actually. So, like we always say, Steven, we'll see who the Warriors play next. We'll see what happens. But just one big thing.
You want to know the best? You want to know what's going to be the best Morant versus Payton, though?
What's that?
Ja Morant's dad versus Gary Payton's dad.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
You think it's been fun? You think it's been fun with Ja Morant and Karl Anthony Towns' dad? Karl Anthony Towns' dad doesn't really have much to be happy about with his son on the court. He has not been playing very well, and he's been doing a lot of talking without much backing it up. And I know KIT's like dealt with way more in his life.
He's a great player
than any human should have to go through, but he has not been that great this series. And it's kind of hard for the dad to talk. But if GP2 is playing that defense on Ja,
and Gary Payton was into the game last night. He was yelling at somebody last night. Did you see that shot of him where he was like yelling at somebody?
I don't know what he was chirping about, because it was Otto Porter Jr. trying to get the ball on the baseline, trying to keep it from going out of bounds. And I think like there was a case to be made that it went off somebody on the Nuggets. And did you see GP2 just chirping? You knew that it was trash too when you see like the upper lip brought up. You know what I mean? Like
the original glove was coming out.
Oh, it was so good. And then watching him cheer when his son knocked down that three, it was kind of a heartwarming moment.
I think there's a lot that goes into having a father that played in the NBA. Steph Curry talked about it last night, where it's in his DNA. Like, this was the gloving out party for Gary Payton too. But he said it's in his DNA, to play big in these moments. And I think that's the perfect place. Obviously Steph Curry with his dad and Klay Thompson with his dad. So I think there's something to that when, you've experienced it as a child, just being around big moments and seeing your dad playing big games. I think there's something that's related to that. But just watching last night, DeMarcus Cousins. I don't know what the center situation is going to look like with the Warriors next season. Kevon Looney will be back, most likely. James Wiseman hopefully is healthy. I would love to see DeMarcus Cousins back with the Warriors, because with how much we go through centers and what that's been lacking this season, I would love to see DeMarcus Cousins come back to the Warriors, get a redemption season where it was so much pressure on him to come back and be in that starting lineup and win that finals. And obviously he hurt the quad and things went bad. But I would love to see DeMarcus Cousins come back to the Warriors. He had a good moment with Draymond last night, laughing at the foul line. But if everything goes right this season, I would love to see improvement at the center position, where we have three solid centers. Kevon Looney, whatever happens with James Wiseman and DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know. It's the injury thing, man. It's the injury thing that scares me.
That's fine, but coming off the bench, we don't have to expect a lot.
No, I'm with you. And I mean, last night, if that was a tryout, I wouldn't mind having him back. I was just happy for him. It was cool to see that. It sucked seeing him get ejected from the first game. It's like
It
that
did.
ejection was soft. I didn't like that ejection at all.
Yeah, looking back on it,
it's just like 2 straight tees, and it's like, come on, dude, you're just doing it because it's DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah.
But I think that he was kind of dominant throughout the series.
He was, man. I was impressed with him the entire series.
He's the reason why Bielitsa was Bielitsa'd. Because he was just going straight at him. Now, granted,
Boogie was taking it to Bielitsa.
Looney couldn't really Looney couldn't do it that much better, but it's like, who could in that series? DeMarcus was knocking down everything. I mean, when he hit a mid-range fadeaway when he was posting up, then he fades away and hits the mid-range, and it goes in without even hitting the rim. I'm like, what the hell? And he hits a 3, and then he's knocking down free throws. It's like, damn, DeMarcus.
I just think we need an aggressive center back on the team. I love Looney. He does the dirty work. He played all 82 games, but he doesn't go to the rack with a lot of force. And I think that I would love to see DeMarcus back on the team to bring that a little bit. And obviously, we have no clue what we're getting from James Wiseman. So DeMarcus Cousins will be a free agent in the offseason. I would like Bob Myers to bring him back, but we'll see.
Draymond gave me a nice little reminder. I don't know if you saw Draymond after the game, but he started out his presser by saying, I'm not going to give you guys much. I'm going to do a podcast here at the end of when I'm done. So I'm going to
is that what he said?
Do the pod. Yeah. So it was like a 6-minute long presser. And when I saw that, because if you want, and Ernie, there's a little radio secret here, but you could go to soundcloud.com/Warriors if you want to listen to all press conferences ahead of the thing, because they take the audio from the TV. But that's for the public, by the way. That's not really a radio secret. It's just a good way to listen to it.
I didn't know the way in for the public.
But Draymond, though, he said on his podcast when talking about the game, Looney's been through 3 hip surgeries.
Yeah.
It's like we're sitting here criticizing him for the way that he moves up and down the court. It's like, this dude's 26 and has had 3 hip surgeries already.
He's experienced 3 Bo Jackson injuries.
Yeah, we could give him a little bit of a break here. I think we could just be happy that Looney's on the floor and playing and doing this for himself. It's good for his mental and everything.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, man. I didn't even think about that. It's like, damn, we're pretty hard on Looney for a guy who's had multiple hip surgeries.
No, I love Looney. It's just that he's always been there. It's a guy that you can rely on, but they've always wanted to improve the center position.
Yeah, no doubt. And you do need someone who can you do need someone who can bang on the rim. I do agree with you there. They're going to need something different, because that's what makes the death lineup work. One of the aspects that we don't talk about, and part of the reason why this small ball lineup might not be as effective as Hampton's 5 and the original death lineup, and I'm being serious here. I'm not just trying to call you out because you said it flows better. I see the point.
Just give me time. If they don't win the championship, I will retract that statement.
I see what you're talking about, though. I really do. But they also had Andrew Bogut on the team, so
yeah,
it's
they did. God, I miss Bogut.
You can make up for it with a big man there, and then that gives you that flexibility and gives them different looks, as opposed to when you have the small ball lineup. Well, the big men that they play with don't necessarily play like the original big men anyway. It's like a classic big man like DeMarcus was yesterday. You're not going to see Looney doing that. You're not going to see Bielitsa doing that. So I do think there's that element that's added into it too. We forget about we don't talk nearly enough about how Andrew Bogut was involved in that team.
He was integral. Yeah.
We talk about it, but we just don't talk about how it impacted that death lineup and the fact that you could use him as kind of a safety blanket. So that's.
And people don't talk about that along with the 2016 finals that the Warriors blew, 3-1 lead. But him spraining his ankle was as crucial as I think Draymond Green gets suspended in that one game.
Everyone calls Jokic the best passing big man of all time. And okay, that's fine if you want to make absolutes like that. But Andrew Bogut was a damn good passing big man.
He was, but Jokic is better at it.
Yeah, not the best of all time. Can we, and I was wondering this, and I tweeted this out. I didn't get any response because it sucked.
Are you talking about
in
your Jokic stat thing?
Yes. Can we create something? Because it happened twice. And I've seen it happen with the Warriors. And this probably happens throughout the league where there's like a sick ass pass or a move that's made and their teammate ends up screwing it up because they just can't make the open layup or the open dunk or just aren't even ready for the ball. That happened twice with Jokic. Happened once toward the end of the season with Iguodala and Otto Porter Jr. Like, can we create some sort of stat
A sick
there?
pass stat?
Something where it's like, I don't know, that should have been an assist stat. Like the SBA. It should have been an assist, but it didn't count because the teammates stunk.
That's like when the NFL was trying to do stats for pancakes, and like blocking, like that never caught on.
Right.
Like there's just some things that you can't create a stat for. That's why basketball is a beautiful sport, where we just look at the stat line, the box score for points scored. That's why everyone just shits on Draymond for not being a great player. You have to see him play. Like Andrew Wiggins, I'm making fun of him for not being an aggressive offensive player, but there's so many other things that he does on the court that you don't see in the box score.
Right. It'd be a very niche stat. You'd
Oh,
have
it would
to.
be. It would be
and
like it would be nerdy analytic basketball stats.
And it'd be really tough to quantify like what counts as that stat, but I still think it should be on the table, and I'm going to pitch it to Adam Silver when I meet him eventually. And then the other thing that I'm going to pitch to Roger Goodell is, hey, we need to create a stat for when an edge rusher / defensive tackle draws a holding penalty.
Yeah, that one's more feasible.
Because I'm just like, I think that's a stat that should be quantified and put into how good we think edge rushers are. Like, if these dudes are causing holding, but then again, it'd be very niche, and you'd have to have the statistician being the decider on what counts.
Yeah. I would say that one big stat that I think we should change in the NFL is interceptions that are not the quarterback's fault. So, like,
see, that'd be a really tough one.
Okay, but like when it's obvious, like a wide receiver has a ball in his hands, bobbles it. Like Jamar Chase this last season had a clear 50-yard bomb that he bobbled up in the air, and one of the Chargers defenders caught it.
Yeah,
shit like that, where it's obviously not the quarterback's fault.
What do you think? Like a FI, faux interception, or something?
An FI?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it's like an error. Like, like in baseball, they have like this. Well, this won't count. Like it's an error thing. Like it shouldn't count towards the quarterback stats. I don't know what you would call it. I think it's always like a weird one. It was just like he threw 2 interceptions a day, but one of them wasn't really his fault.
Maybe have it be like an RBI and just not even count it as like an at bat. Don't even count it as a completion. Just
maybe
let it go. I mean, instead of creating a whole stat for it, just don't add it to the stats. I think that'd be good.
That could be good.
I'm still trying to get that. I'm still trying to get the GA off the ground too. The gravity assist. I think Steph would lead the league.
Oh yeah, but you hate all these baseball ones, don't you?
I love the baseball ones. What are you talking about?
Oh no, wait. Was it Herbs that hated all the baseball analytics stats?
Of course it was Herbs. Yeah. He's old school, and I totally understand that. But I do think there's a way
there's
that we can.
Aren't there some stats you hate?
There are some that are very stupid. Yeah. Like ones that just don't make sense. Ones where you look at it and you think, what the hell is that? Like WOBA. I don't really understand.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
Weighted on base average.
You Womba. He, she, me, Wombo. The study of wombology.
I'm trying to get people into the XBA, the expected batting average, because they take the launch angle and the exit velocity. And if it's like on the dot where it should have been a hit, but really it was a good defensive play, like the XBA, that's the whole point of it. I mean, we're trying to think of ways to not count these interceptions. Sometimes hitters, it goes against them on their stat record when guys make really good defensive plays, even though they hit the ball hard. So I actually kind of like expected batting average. That kind of shows like, hey, this guy's been defended real well. I think there's plenty of those analytics that I can get into. I think there's a new one, actually. I need to look this up. I think there's one called Bacon, and I'm not kidding.
Bacon?
Yeah. Here we go. There's a Bacon one. Oh man,
Show me this Bacon stat.
Oh gosh, where is it? Hang on. All right, I'm gonna share this with you. This is great. There's one. I remember running into this, and I was like, "What the hell?" There's a bacon stat. Where are you? Pitcher list. All right, pitcher list. Actually, shout out to the guy. I think his name's Nick Pollock. I don't know how he feels about me anymore. One time I invited him on my show, and we just couldn't get it working. X bacon. Where are we? Bacon. I'm trying to find the bacon here. So we got X
Where's
average
the bacon?
expected.
Where's
Where's
the
the
beef?
bacon? I could smell the bacon. Bacon. X bacon. Babip. Batting average on balls in play. I like that one. One of the major gripes with the stat is does not include home runs. Bacon means batting average on contact.
Oh,
Huh? Bacon.
not bad.
Batting average on contact.
I just want to hear that in broadcast with John Miller.
Oh my
And
God.
His
His expected bacon
this season
His expected bacon
has been lean.
I might bring this up tomorrow, actually, on the show.
The day after the draft, you go a full hour on bacon, sir.
I got a couple of fun things planned for tomorrow's show, Derek. We got the Doghouse, and the Yankees are going to be headlining that one. Yankees fans for throwing trash onto the field during their
we never talked about that.
with the Cleveland Guardians, and then let me think. That's going to be there. Oh, and the plays from the playoffs that I'd turn into an NFT and sell it on Top Shot.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
You buying into these NFT shit?
pun intended there, or what?
What's the pun?
You buying into this NFT
Oh,
stuff? Not
Yeah,
technically.
good one.
No, not really. But I do think it's a nice little way to frame, like, hey, these are the best plays from the playoffs this season. These are the ones that
Yeah.
I personally would make into an NFT or buy into an NFT. And yes, Ernie knows, like, dude, Ernie, you know me better than I know me, which is wild. Is Jesse going to call in about the NFL draft? I told Jesse yesterday, like, this is what I'm planning on doing. Like,
Okay.
tomorrow's show is going to be a game recap. Friday's show is going to be about this NFT thing. And then she goes on this little tirade about how she doesn't understand NFTs. And it's like this profanity-laced tirade. And and she
I'm with her.
she calls in. She calls in this morning and don't walk in here. And she calls. Yeah, I know. She calls in and she says, as I'm talking about the Warriors, she's like, I'm here to call in about NFTs. I'm like, that's tomorrow. That's the Friday. That's not today. Then I hung up.
Yeah. I just like your girlfriend calling in at 5:30 in the morning to come
She
on
was
your
working
show.
she was working the graveyard shift.
Oh,
so
okay,
she was on her way home at that point. She was just off work, and
Got it.
I guess she did the classic, call in when you're not even listening to what's going on with the content.
That's always the best. Hey, what are you guys talking about? Oh, I got an opinion on that.
Yeah, we got a call like that the other day. It's like, dude, you don't even know what we're talking about. Can you just
Yeah,
get to
exactly.
the point? But anyway,
Speaking of which, Laramie Tunsil, we were talking about earlier with the gas mask, he turned that into an NFT, which I don't know how the hell you do that, but whatever. Just the image, I guess.
yeah, they can make them like wearable. I saw it. The first time I saw it, and I think I told you about this. It was UFC 272. Well, it was Adesanya versus Whitaker, and Adesanya was wearing an NFT, a wearable NFT, which was like a screen on a chain, and it showed him knocking out Robert Whitaker in the past fight, or at least knocking him down in the past fight.
I guess that's cool.
It's just on loop.
But how much does that cost?
I don't know. I don't see. That's where you lose me.
Thing.
That's where you lose me. But I'm going to do that tomorrow, though. NBA
All
Top
right.
Shot. Create the plays from the
Couldn't
playoffs.
you just say
Which
the
would you
best
put on there?
plays? Could you say the best plays? It has to be NFT related.
It's a boring way to frame it. You need to get with it. You know what I mean?
I'm never gonna get with it.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, or going back to what you were talking about, the whole Yankee Guardian trash thing. My favorite moment of that whole thing is the shot of John Sterling calling the end of that game and him going. I've actually never seen him do it on screen. The Yankees win, and it was just his face after when he did that, and he goes, and now someone's throwing trash on the field. Those guys aren't Yankees fans. Those guys are hooligans. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, I'll show you the video. It's just John Sterling's face when he does the Yankees win.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that one. That's like the face you make when you're running on one of your 2 treadmills in your room.
How would you know? You never seen me run these treadmills.
It's a good point. It's just a guess.
I run with ease. No problems.
Yeah, of course.
Real quick, Steven. Devin Booker is coming back tonight. Or is it tonight? Yeah. It's tonight.
Yep.
He's playing in this game against the Pelicans and Suns. And I'm thinking that they're rushing that a little too soon because I don't think they need him to win this series. But I do want Devin Booker back if the Warriors were to play the Suns in the Western Conference Finals. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I don't think you want. I just don't think you'd want a Game 7. Like, get this thing over with. If he feels like he's good enough to play, you bring him in. Devin Booker's a game changer.
Just hamstrings are tricky.
He's a game changer. It could be a risk, though. You're absolutely right. No doubt. No doubt it's a risk. But going to a Game 7, like that's a terrifying prospect, man.
Yeah, but you'd be home in Phoenix, and the Pelicans are the Pelicans.
Sure, no doubt. No doubt. But you can just win it in New Orleans and, hell, have a good time in New Orleans for the next couple of days.
Yeah, and also the Pelicans could, tell Zion to play because he's doing these 360 dunks in practice.
It's very impressive.
It is. Could give you 15 minutes like Reggie Miller's talking about. Lastly, we haven't talked about this. Brooklyn Nets get swept by the Boston Celtics. Our old buddy Kevin Durant has a season end. And I feel bad for him because he probably has just made the worst decision, just going to Brooklyn, trying to form this team with Kyrie, who misses half the season or most of the season because of his choice. And the whole Ben Simmons stuff, look, I get it. Something's going on with that guy mentally, but were you actually expecting him to make a difference in Game 4? No. And honestly, I'm glad he didn't play because he would have sucked. How do you expect to have any chemistry with guys you've never played with before, and you're going to throw them out there for the first time in the playoffs? That would have just been a recipe for disaster. I understand all the old basketball heads saying this guy's not tough enough to play, but honestly, it would have just been terrible basketball-wise to throw him out there and been like, go figure it out, Ben. So I feel bad for Kevin. I think that Steve Nash is going to be on a really steaming hot seat next season. But I enjoy watching Kevin Durant, and I want nothing but success for him. But I also can't root for this team around him too. It's just infuriating. But it is what it is.
Hey, man, it's like I told you throughout this time. He has got the power. Like
Kevin,
I think he's doing fine. He can do whatever.
I'm sure he's happy.
He can do whatever.
I hope he's happy do whatever. I don't. Before.
Yeah, it seems like he's in a better place than he was with the Warriors, funnily enough. Like, with the Warriors, it's like, dude, there's something going on with this guy. Like, the burner accounts, the social media stuff. Sure, he's still responding to people all through Twitter, but he's doing it from his personal account. And he's also just clapping back on people. I think we're starting to realize, like, hey, some fans are stupid and think they know more and can do more than these guys who are just way more athletic than they will ever be in their lives. Like, that's so I think he's in a better place. He needed something. I don't know what he needed, but he wanted to have freedom. And I don't think he had that too much in Golden State in terms of what he could do. I'm sure there were I'm sure there were rules that were instilled with him, maybe that weren't with Steph and Draymond. Like, I don't know, man. I just think that I think he might be in a better place, but who knows? I don't really feel bad for him though. Like,
I just feel bad just in the sense that I don't know. I just wanted him to stay with the Warriors, and now it just feels like he's gone to this team just to prove to something to everybody, just because the Stephen A's of the world and everybody was saying that it's not a real championship, the 2 ones that he's won with the Warriors. But honestly, I think when players have too much power, like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving basically running the Nets and LeBron James running the Lakers, those teams are going to fail because those guys are still playing and they don't know how to run organizations.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And in order to get those players around that they want, you have to trade up some of your assets, and some of those assets that you trade could be really valuable in the future. Maybe they can. I'm not just gonna brush it aside and say this is like the last opportunity that Kevin Durant has
No,
to win a
absolutely not.
championship.
No.
I mean, if their team's a higher seed and they don't have to play in a play-in game, like I'm sure that, or did they have to play in a play-in game? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think we could be looking at a totally different situation. Sure, I might feel bad for him this year, and the fact that his teammate Kyrie just thinks that he's smarter than everybody else because he's rich. I don't know. But the fact that all of this was happening at the time, and they did make the wrong decision with James Harden. There's no doubt about that. That was the dumbest one out of all of them. Like, forget the Kyrie thing, the James Harden situation, like bringing him to the team. That was the worst decision that they could have possibly made. So, and Steve Nash being a good head coach. I don't know if he's a good head coach or not. So
I don't know.
I'll wait. I will hold my sympathy until he his time's retired and he really has not won another championship. Did you see how the NBA on TNT, by the way, took advantage of their
the bus driving thing?
The bus driving. That's amazing.
The Office thing was spectacular.
Oh gosh.
Just someone knows that show line in, line out, and the whole scenario just played out perfectly.
Yep. And Kevin, I am one of those guys.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I know every Seinfeld line. I can't tell you any Office lines, even though I've seen most of the show.
Yeah. Then when Creed is on the side and he comes into the bus.
As Ben Simmons. Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one too where Michael Scott wasn't in it, I don't think. Or he wasn't in that one. That was during the 8th season when Michael Scott was gone. So it was led by John Krasinski, and John Krasinski, action star now.
He is. Speaking of action, we are about 40 minutes away from action starting in this NFL draft. No updates about anything going on with Deebo Samuel. So we will see what happens here. But I did see this, Steven. The Raiders have a round 3 pick, and they have announced who the veteran players are going to be to announce the day 2 picks. It's not Charles Woodson. This is going to be interesting. It is Marcus Allen, who's going to announce the Raiders' 3rd-round pick. And Raider fans know the history with Marcus Allen. It seems like Mark Davis has just mended fences with old Marcus Allen, and he's going to come back in the good graces of the Raiders. He already lit the torch, which was a big deal with my dad and everything because he loves Al Davis, and Al and Marcus had his problems. I would assume the Raider fans are going to cheer for Marcus Allen, but you also got to remember that it was dicey, their relationship, for a long period of time.
Who are the Bills going to use as their guy? They're going to bring in a old running back from their Bills days that lives in Vegas?
It would be fitting. Can you imagine? Hello there, Draft World. It's me, Arenthal James Simpson, here to announce.
And then at the end, he's like, I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I saw that list. Could you imagine? And I was thinking about it with the Niners, because the Marcus Allen thing, like, there's history there, but you really have to dig deep and be a Raider fan to understand what's going on there and why that's kind of controversial. Can you imagine if Eric Armstead goes up there in the 2nd round and his team just traded away Deebo?
Yeah, Eric Armstead. Like, I don't get the whole current players doing that thing.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Because what if they draft a defensive tackle and he's like, and now the Niners select my replacement?
Yeah. They've drafted. Oh shit! I wasn't hoping they would get this guy.
Yeah, I know.
Man.
Just like hypothetically, like Travis Jones is a big defensive tackle in this draft. Travis Jones, is he taking my job or Kinlaw's? Oh, whatever. Yeah. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah. But he'll be more professional than that. I understand though why he's doing it. I think he's, they're Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. Yeah. He's a good dude among the team, so I understand why they're doing it. But in general, though, having current players go out and select the picks, it's kind of odd.
Over under how long these picks take tonight?
Oh,
they're on the clock for 10 minutes, but they always take a shit ton of time.
Yeah, we got a great view of Joe Burrow's living room when he was a rookie. You remember that?
I was going through old footage the other day at work for like a music video for all the old draft stuff from that draft of 2020. God, everybody's houses. Mike Vrabel's kids taking a shit in the back. Remember that?
Yes. Bill Belichick and his dog.
Yes. Bill Belichick left the room and it was just the dog at the table making the picks. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to Cliff Kingsbury's nice house with 2 fireplaces lit.
Do you think that was his house?
Yeah.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that was his house, man.
Well, you think it's like a fake house like the Rams have for the draft?
Yeah.
I think Cliff Kingsbury's living in a nice house.
Yeah, I think he could, but I don't think that was it.
I think that's his house. The weird thing is, do you think Kyler Murray comes over and is like, "This is a nice house. Wish I could get a house like this."
Yeah, he definitely. It's not a, it wasn't a Derek Carr, John Gruden situation where they're next door neighbors.
No, that's awkward now. That's awkward.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if John Gruden showed up to the draft party tonight for the Raiders? Just be like, "Hey, what's going on, guys?"
God.
On that note, Steven, where are you going this weekend?
Paso Robles down in near Slow. So got the show to do tomorrow. Gonna, get to the station. Then as soon as I'm done at the station, gonna zoom down to Paso Robles.
All right. Well, everybody tune in tomorrow at 5 a.m. to listen to Steven talk about NFTs and have his girlfriend call it.
NFTs and the doghouse, Derek. The doghouse at 5:15. We're gonna recap a little bit of what happens in the draft, maybe some NBA playoffs talk, and then the NFTs. My top 5 plays from the Warriors that I would sell as an NFT top shot.
God. It's a great idea for a segment, but I hate the NFT angle.
No, it's just
I know.
You are right. When you really peel it back, it's just top 5 plays, but it's just another way to, another way to frame it.
It's a way to make it trendy. I get it.
I could go, Derek, if you want, my top 5 draft picks with their last names ending in the suffix ski, if you like.
Ooh, not bad. I kind of like that. Jesse says she's never be calling in again, so she won't be calling in tomorrow.
Well, yeah. Do it right next time.
I'll be back tomorrow with Alon to say he is going to the draft today. That rhymes. And we will go over everything that went on tonight. And maybe we get some trades tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Steven and I will be back on Tuesday. Steven, say what you always say, my friend.
And that's just our opinion, man.